This is day 9 of Advent of Cyber 2025, and this challenge is called Passwords, a Cracking Christmas. With time between Easter and Christmas being destabilized, the once quiet systems of the Best Festival Company began showing traces of encrypted data buried deep within their servers. Sir Carrotbane stumbled upon a series of locked PDF and zip files labeled North Pole Asset List. Rumors spread that these could contain fragments of Santa's master gift registry, critical information that could help Malhare control the festive balance between both worlds. So Carrotbane sets out to crack the encryption, learning how weak passwords can expose even the most guarded secrets. Can the elves adapt fast and prevent their secrets from being discovered? So the learning objectives for this are to learn how a password-based encryption protects files such as PDFs and zip archives, why weak passwords make encrypted files vulnerable, how attackers use dictionary and brute force attacks to recover passwords, a hands-on exercise for cracking the password of an encrypted file to reveal its contents, and the importance of using strong, complex passwords to defend against these attacks. So there's a few simple points to remember. The strength of protection depends almost entirely on the password. Short or common passwords can be guessed. Long, random passwords are far harder to break. Different file formats use different algorithms and key derivation methods. For example, PDF encryption and zip encryption differs in details, how the key is derived, salt use, number of hash iterations, and that affects how easy or hard cracking is. Many consumer tools still support legacy or weak modes, particularly older zip encryption, that makes some encrypted archives much easier to attack than modern, well-implemented schemes. Encryption protects data confidentiality only. It does not prevent someone with access to the encrypted file from trying to guess the password offline. To make it simple, encryption makes the contents unreadable unless the correct password is known. If the password is weak, an attacker can simply try likely passwords until one works. So for this challenge, we will only need to turn on the virtual machine, and this virtual machine will open up in split screen, or if you want, you can connect to it via RDP or SSH. Attackers don't usually try to break the encryption itself, because that would take far too long with modern cryptography. Instead, the focus on guessing the password that protects the file. The two most common ways of doing this are dictionary attacks and brute force attacks. In a dictionary attack, the attacker uses a predefined list of potential passwords, known as a word list, and tests each one until the correct password is found. These word lists often contain leaked passwords from previous breaches, common substitutes like password123, predictable combination of names and dates, and other patterns that people frequently use. Because many users choose weak or common passwords, dictionary attacks are usually fast and highly effective. Brute force and mask attacks go one step further. A brute force attack systematically tries every possible combination of characters until it finds the right one. While this guarantees success eventually, the time it takes grows exponentially with the length and complexity of the password. Mask attacks aim to reduce that time by limiting guesses to a specific format. For example, try all combinations of 3 lowercase letters followed by 2 digits. By narrowing the search space, mask attacks strike a balance between speed and thoroughness, especially when the attacker has some idea of how the password might be structured. Practical tips attackers use. Start with a word list. Common lists like rocky.txt and common-passwords.txt. If the word list fails, move to targeted word lists, company names, project names, or data from the target. If that fails, try mask or incremental attacks on short passwords, such as 3 lowercase letters plus 2 digits, which is used as a password mask format by password cracking tools. Use GPU accelerated cracking when possible, dramatically speeds up attacks for some algorithms, and keep an eye on resource usage. Cracking is CPU GPU intensive. That behavior can be detected on a monitored endpoint. So for this exercise, we'll find files for this section in the desktop directory of the machine. Okay, so virtual machine is loaded up, so we'll bring up the terminal and we'll see what directory we're currently in, and we'll go over to the desktop. So inside of this directory, there's flag.pdf, flag.zip, directory called John, and then stop stuff. So let's do file flag.pdf. You can see that it is actually a PDF document, then file flag.zip, and we can see it's a archive data. So if it's a PDF, proceed with PDF tools. If it's a zip, proceed with zip tools. So the tools to use, if you're going to use a PDF, use PDF crack, or you can use John via PDF to John. Then for zip, fcrack zip, or you can use John via zip to John. And then for any other file type in general, you should be able to use John for it as it's very flexible, or you can use hashcat. So with the PDF, we will first try use a dictionary tag. So using PDF crack, the file we want to crack is flag.pdf. And our word list will be in our user directory /user/share/word list. Then it should be rock.u.txt. And if we run this, it will use the word list to try crack the password of the PDF. And it was able to successfully do so. We can see here the password was naughty list. So I wonder if with this password now, if we try to open PDF, come up here with the password, and if we enter naughty list, unlock it, you can see the flag. So let's go ahead and copy this. And then from our clipboard, we have the flag, and let's paste it in here for the PDF one and check. That's correct. That's the PDF one complete. And what we'll do now is carry on to the zip one. So offline cracking does not hit login services. So lockouts and failed login dashboards stay quiet. We can detect the work where it runs on endpoints and jump boxes. Important signals to monitor include process creation. Password cracking has a small set of well-known binaries and command patterns that we can look out for. A mix of process events, file activity, GPU signals, and network touches tied to tooling and wordless. Our goal is to make the activity obvious without drowning in noise. So there's a bunch of binaries and aliases you can look out for which are common for password cracking. And there's command line traits such as commands including word list, rules, and mask, and then references to common word lists. And there's also pop files and state, like those. It's worth noting that on Windows systems, Sysmon Event ID 1 captures process creation with full command line properties, while on Linux, audit-d and execve or EDR sentences capture binaries and arguments. GPU and resource artifacts. GPU cracking is loud. Sudden high utilization on hosts can be picked up and would need to be investigated. So NVIDIA-SMI shows long-running processes named Hashcat or John, high steady GPU utilization and power draw while the fan curve spike. Then libraries loaded such as NVIDIA CUDA, OpenCL, libCUDA, MDOC, network hints, light but useful. Offline cracking does not need the network once load lists are present, yet most operators fetch lists and tools first. So downloads of large files named rocky.txt or git clones of popular wordless repos, package installs such as John or Hashcat, detected by EDR package telemetry, then tool updates and driver fetches for GPU runtimes. Unusual file reads. Repeated reads of files such as wordless or encrypted files would need analysis. So below are some examples of detection rules and hunting queries we can use across the various environments. So in Windows, searching for process name John or process name Hashcat, or command line PDF to John or command line zip to John. And then here are some Sigma style rules for Windows process creation for cracking tools. So it's looking at the log source for Windows process creation. It's detecting based on the name which ends with John, Hashcat, fcrackzip, so on. And it's also looking at the command line where the command line command contains wordless, wiki, zip to John, and so on. Response playbook. As a security analyst in Wereville, it is important to have a playbook to follow when such incidents occur. The immediate actions to take are isolate the host if malicious activity is detected. If it is, lab, tag, and suppress. Capture triage artifacts such as process list, process memory dump, NVIDIA-SMI sample outputs, open files and encrypted files. Preserve the working directories, wordless, hash files, and shell history. Review which files were encrypted. Review which files were decrypted. Search for follow-on access, lateral movement, or exfiltration. Identify the origin and intent of the activity. Was this authorized? If not, escalate to the IR team. Remediate the activity. Rotate affected keys and passwords and enforce MFA for accounts. And then close with education and correct placement of tools into approved sandboxes. So that was a lot of information about how you can detect this, but we skipped the zip encryption. So let's go back to here. And we can see zip to John using flag.zip and then zip hash.txt. And let's just double check that file was created. You can see zip hash.txt there. So now we will use John to crack that using the word list equals /user/share/word list/rocku.txt, and we pass it the file zip hash.txt, and that's found the password winter forever. So if we try to open flag.zip and flag.txt, maybe we need to do extract. We will extract to desktop. There we go. Now it's asking for the password. So that password is winter forever. Winter forever. That appears to have successfully extracted. So let's show the files, and we see flag.txt here, and there is the flag. let's go to the clipboard, copy it, and paste it down here. So that is day 9 of Advent of Cyber 2025 complete. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe.